All right, we're back for another edition of Lakers Fast Break. My name is Jamie Sweet. Here with me this afternoon is none other than Lakerholics.com, LakerTom. And we're here today to discuss the media day, discuss some future. I think there's a post you put up. It was about a week ago now, but 4 championship caliber rotational choices Darvin Ham could make. What with all the talent we've accumulated in the last couple of weeks, and if we want, we can maybe throw in a little, play around with a couple of potential Jrue Holiday trades scenario. Who, I'll be honest, excites me as a Laker more than Damian Lillard ever would. Listen. I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan. The guy is a cold-blooded assassin when it comes to shooting the basketball, but my preference for guys.
Man, everything you're saying, Jamie, I agree 100%.
But how my appreciation for the guys on what people can contribute on the defensive end that I don't ignore. In fact, I kind of value.
He is the best perimeter defender in the league
this season. He and Marcus Smart are right there, but there's a reason Marcus Smart was Defensive Player of the Year. I'd like to thank Darren and Search and Destroy right away for popping on. Darren wants to know if we're still friends. Tom, do you want to?
We've always been friends, even at the worst times. I mean,
no, not.
How many people in the world do you think have a friendship that wouldn't have disagreements, or a marriage that doesn't have disagreements?
Well, that's true.
This is life. This is life, man.
That's right.
Jamie and I have been friends for must be 20 years now or something like that.
I think Darren is wondering about your and his friendship, to be honest. Did you guys get into it? Did you guys get into it on a did you disagree on a podcast or something? Or
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But
I think we're all Darren, we're all friendly here. We're all friendly here. Thank you, Search and Destroy, for dropping some links to Lakerholics.com. You definitely should. I mean, the whole team here at Lakers Fast Break does such a great job covering everything. But if you really want to get into nuanced discussions where you out there on the interwebs are talking with us here on the interwebs, the place really to do that is Lakerholics.com. Tom and I'm working on my first. I really took a break on the Fivers over the summer. I was a little burned out, not gonna lie. There just wasn't much to talk about this season. We had enough.
It's hard to finish stuff. I got like 10 articles half written.
It's not for me. It's not the finishing. It's the inspiration to begin. Like I have like 5 or 6 different ideas, and I'm like, let's wait till.
The inspiration's got to hold up is the problem.
Yeah. So, anywho, let's start off with Media Day. I thought, it wasn't really. It's not technically. It's not even Media Day. Media Day's on the. Let's see. I'm gonna change.
Media Day is officially Tuesday, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, this was just
Sean.
Yep. What's up, Sean? I'm just changing your name for you because it said Jamie Sweet joined, and I was like, wait, I'm already
here. All right. Oh, thank you very much, sir.
You got it. And that's okay, Darren. That's my number. Gerald used to say we're going to try to limit these podcasts to 30 minutes. Now they stretch on for an hour and a half, hour and 45, and I'm like, listen, y'all, I got a life, man. I got a small.
I just rechanged my schedule from an automatic hour to an hour and a half.
I don't have that in me. I got responsibilities. The Search and Destroy. You're on it with the links today. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to welcome officially Sean Grice, the Canadian version of Jamie Sweet, or I'm the American version of Sean Grice. However you want to put that.
Whichever way you want to take that.
That's right. However you want to take that. We both love waffles, I bet.
Yes.
Waffles. My daughter made some delicious waffles this morning, and they were wonderful. It really is just the Rob Pelinka, Darvin Ham.
Look, Jamie. If you and your daughter love waffles, we've been friends for so long. I'm gonna give the Sweet family some delicious maple syrup.
That's great maple syrup. We broke it out right after we got it from Sean.
Oh, wow. All right. I will send you my address.
It's the real deal, Jamie. This is Canadian maple syrup.
Oh, man. Made from real Canadians?
No, it's made from a special forest along the Vermont Quebec border, Jamie.
All right.
These really beautiful trees produce amazing maple syrup sap.
All right, I'm into it. And Darren, you're right.
Have you seen the price of maple syrup in the stores?
It's
incredible. I mean, it's like $25 for a bottle.
Yeah, up here it's around $18, Tom. Yeah.
Oh, man, my wife saw that when she saw the gift that we got from Sean with that one. She says, "Wow, look at this."
Oh, man. Made from Canadian hobbits might be my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Inside of the
amazing
pantry too, just because the ants love maple syrup too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Tom, the ants. Don't get me started on that. When I moved out west in the summertime, oh my God.
Oh yeah, there are certain things that can totally turn your life upside down for a good period of time, and an ant invasion is one of the worst.
Oh yeah, no, everybody hates an ant invasion. All right. Let's go.
Take it over, Jamie.
Let's vote. Yeah,
I must say that was one of my favorite animated films of all time. Is Ants with Woody Allen.
That was I haven't seen that in a while, but it is pretty good. We're not doing dabs on camera here, Darren, unfortunately. And Darren, I want to thank you for giving MagicMan.
Woody Allen is when you're sorry that you're woke. Go on.
We're not going to get into that. We're going to scroll right on by that one.
So we're looking at battles in training camp. Who really thinks that? I honestly, Jamie, I think it's going to come down to, remember the Dark Knight, the Joker scene? We said we're going to have tryouts. I think that if you put Rui's face and Vando's face on those two guys, I think that would be what training camp is going to be about.
I think it's going to be a four-way. It's a four-way race. I don't think anybody's. I was. So
who would you give the pole position to?
Jackson Hayes.
Okay. All
just
right.
because it allows you to go the first. It's because in a way it's kind of a dog and pony show, right? It's all about the optics. Are the optics that AD doesn't start at center? Are the optics that he doesn't start the second half at center? And let's say that that's for a whopping 5 minutes per first and third quarter, 10 minutes out of the game. And then, of course, Hayes will get another 10, 15 minutes of run as matchups or the game dictates, what have you. Just for that reason alone. And it was funny because I was listening and I had a few minutes before I was rushing around last night, but I popped on the podcast last night and dropped some wonderful YouTube comments. And at the time, Joe was saying that he thought Darvin Ham was a little bit silly for laying all his cards on the table and listing D'Angelo Russell, Reeves as starters alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I understand where he's coming from, but he kind of did the same thing last season with Russ, where everybody was like, Russ has to be moved. Russ should come off the bench. Less. And Darvin went against that current. He went against that grain. He was like, Russ is, and again, dog and pony show, because obviously Russell Westbrook got traded as soon as a deal that worked for the Lakers materialized. But
he built it helped build a great relationship with Russ.
And the optics,
that helped during the year.
It did. It helped with the optics, right?
Doing the same thing for the same reasons.
I agree. So again, you might see D'Angelo Russell as the starter for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month of the season. And if the record doesn't indicate that that's a good decision, then you could start to see a shift in mentality. Then you could start to see, well, maybe we should try Vincent as a starter, or maybe we should go a little bit bigger with the starting lineup, slide Rui in at the 2, or Vando in at the 3, or whatever, and have LeBron play a guard-esque position, because it doesn't even matter at this point. It's just for end of the season awards or like all-star berth. That's the only reason positions matter in basketball anymore. When it comes to defense, the best defenders are going to guard the best players. The best rim protectors going to try to be in the paint as much as possible. And you're going to hide your worst defender on the most least mobile or worst player on the other team, and that's just how it goes.
And the other team's going to determine the matchups of how you play defensively.
Yeah, right, exactly. So a lot of this is kind of semantics, in my opinion, and really doesn't matter. It matters for the players who need to get a qualification to get a big deal. It matters for the players who have like a contract where, hey, if you make an all NBA team, if you play X amount of minutes,
it's really important
do
for
a bunch of stuff.
Hayes. Hayes.
No, it's important for all these guys. Every single guy who's on a 1-year deal, minimum deal, it's super important for all of those guys.
True, but every rotation that you run that doesn't start two bigs, that's Jackson Hayes as the third string center. He started off the year. I think the intention was, okay, we're going to go into the season. We got Jackson Hayes. We finally got a guy who can be the Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee defender for us, a big body, and he can defend, and we can play the two bigs, and it'll work out. And somehow we'll figure out how we deal with LeBron defending the three for that few minutes that he has to do that. And then, then we got all these other guys. And then finally at the end, we get Wood, and all of a sudden Jackson Hayes is like, man, where'd my job go? I have him as 11th man on a lot of rotations. And he and Reddish are two guys who are talented enough to bust their way into the top 10, I think. But I think that the thing that I like about Jamie's prediction of the four players who could be the fifth starter being a big man and being Hayes is that you don't want to trust Wood. Wood's got to prove himself and earn that opportunity to do that. And his defense is probably not going to be as good as Hayes's will be. And this gives you a chance to, if this doesn't work, it gives you a good opportunity to see Wood have some minutes with Davis to see whether that could work. And you can still go back to Rui or back to Vando. I think that frankly, we will see all four of those players, all four of those candidates for fifth starter get a good opportunity, because it's like I said when I wrote an article about that same subject just shortly ago, that this is one of the first times I can remember as a Laker fan where I really don't care who starts. Vando starts nailing threes from the corner, boy, we're going to be really a tough team to beat. If Rui plays like he played in the playoffs, give me a break. Nobody's going to stop us. And if Wood comes in and all of a sudden gets a chance to really have impact, we have insurance for AD now that like we never had before. It just gives us a lot of versatility and depth. And I think that, at least in my opinion, that versatility and depth will result in us making a trade at midseason. Ideally, maybe the guy still be there that we want.
I would disagree. Ideally, it would be that we don't make a trade and all of these guys play great. But I wanted to ask Sean about that. Sean, what do you think? Do you think, because Search and Destroy just dropped in the chat, Bron can play every position, and so there is a legitimacy to
can he defend every position?
Well, that again, we already said that doesn't matter.
You can play what you can defend, really.
He's going to defend. But he's going to play.
Yeah.
And so he's going to defend
the one for a little bit of time, but I mean,
this is what I'm going to ask Sean if you let me get a question out.
Yeah.
Do you think, Mr. Grice, that there is a world where we slide Russell up to the 2, Reeves to the 3, Bron plays the 1, and you start 2 bigs? Or do you think that LeBron is pretty locked into the 3-4 at this point, simply based on mobility issues?
I'll answer the latter question before the former, sir.
All right.
I think that in the clutch, he's going to be your point guard. No doubt. Yeah. The offense is going to flow through him. Now, hopefully hoping he plays less than, 30, 32 minutes a game. So if he's playing point guard for, 5 to 7 of those minutes, Jamie, and thank you, Darren, for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much. I was gonna finish that off, Jamie. I think if he's playing point guard for 5 to 7 of those minutes, if he's playing point guard, 25% of the time, LeBron's one of the most efficient beasts the game knows. So he's gonna make do with what he's got. I think that would work out fine. Unless injuries like pile up, like a car wreck, which I hope they don't. Then that's a considerable possibility that LeBron has to play the 1. You have to go with D'Lo at the 2 and Reeves at the 3. I hope that doesn't happen because I think we've got the requisite depth enough to handle that. I will say this: we've all seen what happens to guys like PJ Tucker, who are undersized and are asked to play the 5. He needs serious neck surgery. He says he doesn't look forward to the next 10 years of his life because of the last 5 he's had to playing center in the NBA as an undersized man. It's grinding, Jamie, and it's taxing on your body, especially your back.
Yeah. No, I don't. And let's not forget that LeBron has a torn tendon in his foot that he chose not to get surgery on. That won't. I don't know if it'll heal. The way. I think that he can manage the pain. I think he can manage the load.
He's going to heal like he was 23.
Yeah, it's not. He doesn't have Wolverine. He doesn't have Wolverine blood anymore.
Right. No, he has Jamie Sweet blood in him, which is like, hey, hold on a minute.
Well, wait, I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
hey, but he's
still inhuman, man. He's still inhuman.
He's the best athlete we've ever seen off recovery, off the recovery phase. But yeah, no Wolverine blood. But he
ate the younger version.
But you know what? I also think that heading into training camp, Jamie, we see a question about most to, right? Most to prove, most to gain, most to lose. So I'll ask the whole panel here: who has the most to prove in the Lakers training camp? Okay, I would say Max Christie, but I'd agree. I'd flip him. I'd say Christie and Wood, but I think you could go with Wood, Christie.
Listen, the thing about this team is there's a half a dozen guys that could easily be up for that award.
Well, I think
look at it this way. How many guys?
Hold on. I think the reason why I put Christie in there as the most approved is because I think they have that backup guard spot earmarked for him because they drafted him. And they saw how he developed in the summer league. I agree. There could be half a dozen guys.
It's a big responsibility for a 20-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
If Reeves goes down,
you need somebody.
somebody.
Yeah. So those would be my 2. Who do you think is your top 2 guys most approved, Tom, going into Lakers training camp? Most approved.
You know, there's such a semantic thing about most improved. I think that.
No, most to prove.
It even doesn't matter because I agree with you on Max Christie because he may be the most important of the backups that we need to do well because he is the weakest of that group. And you're right. If there's somebody that we focus on in a trade, it'll be a guard. It may be a point guard just simply because of D'Lo being one of the chips going out. But it definitely is there's definitely going to be changes in the guard situation because that's our weakness. We have a strong front court against other teams now, but we go up against, look at the teams we're going up against that can put out a pair of guards that are a pair of all-stars. That's a big leap that's a big mountain to leap over. And when we ran into a team playing that way in the conference finals, we found out how much we really needed D'Lo to be that second guy that could do it, you know? So there's going to be a change somehow. They know they can move Reeves to the 1, I think, and they're going to give him a lot more play this year, and they're going to give D'Lo a lot of play early. I think Ham wants to build his confidence. And then, you know, and even more than that, I think that the Lakers realistically believe that he is redeemable and he wants to give him a chance, and they want to have other players understand that they value a player and they'll stand behind him. And the things that Pelinka said, you know, about, yeah, he had a bad 6 games, but look at what he did for the team before that and what a change he brought upon the season, you know, that he was a big part of that. You can't take that away from the guy. And lots of guys have had bad playoffs and come back and redeem themselves in the future. I hope the best for D'Lo. I hope he gets traded too, you know. That could be best for him, you know.
I love how it's one of my favorite things about Tom. Like, I've loved this player my entire career. I hope he has a great season. Also, I hope he ends up on another team.
Well, it's just that I would prefer to have, you know.
I know. You love trades. You love trades.
You know, there's only one trade left to be made for this team. Period. I think there's only one trade left to be. They need to resolve the point guard of the future situation.
Which gives me to my next most to gain. Who's got the most to gain in training camp, Tom?
Christian Wood, because he's got the furthest to go, and it's the easiest for him to do it because he'll get an opportunity because he's that talented that he's going to get minutes. God, you just hope that somebody took Christian by the shirt and just shook him and said, "Man, look at where you are and look at how good you are." And, you know, geez, if I could have you, if I could just take over your mind for, you know, a season, I could make you millions and millions, you know. It's just crazy.
Tom,
you know, everybody who sees him thinks that. They think, man, you know. And it's funny, you know, I've heard Christian talk and I've heard him and his father talk, and it's just amazing. He really has, you know, and I think it was that one game refusing to go into the game, you know. That's the kind of thing where you'd see a normal LakerTom response of, "I never want to see that guy on my team again, period." You know, bury me with that quote on my gravestone.
And Tom, you know,
next season, because I am a Lakers fan.
Right. You know something, Tom? You once said that I remember Joe said that losing is contagious, and then I remember being on a pod with you a couple days later, and you and Gerald got into a little tete-a-tete, and you were just speaking about in generalities how negativity is contagious too. Mm-hmm. And he's never really been put in a positive situation.
Look at the teams he played for and the coaches he played for. I mean, his last coach admitted he did not want him on the team.
Right. And he had a horrible experience in Detroit because he contracted COVID and was ill. And
then before that, he's playing with the Rockets. Look at the guys he's playing with at the Rockets. They if you're talking about a bunch of loose cannons, the Rockets were like famous for just stocking their entire roster with guys like that.
That's a fair analysis that the environments he's been in maybe necessarily haven't allowed him to thrive.
Well, I don't know about that.
Jamie, we talked about this. We know what his story is, 8 teams in 8 years, but you know, it takes 2 to tango.
Sure.
It takes 2 to tango.
I was just going to say, I don't know if that logic applies to Dallas. I think Dallas had a need for a shooter, a need for a big man who could excel, a need for like a guy that both Irving and Doncic could make plays to, and he sat on the bench.
I think that's
because
so that's I will say that situation specifically is what makes me go like this with Christian Wood. When the team has a need that you have the skill and ability to fill, and they say no, thank you, that is a red flag, my friends. That is a red flag.
100%. 100%, Jamie.
That's all I'm saying.
When they made that trade, you're right. You're right. It was about the roster spots. They didn't admit it at the time because they didn't want to. Now they've pretty much come out and admitted it. We traded all those guys in that first round pick for Christian Wood and roster spots. The roster spots were more important than him. I think what jackknifed Wood wasn't the fact that they traded for him. I think what jackknifed him was on media day, for God's sakes. Like, you've met Kid already, conceivably, right? You've met Kid, you've met Nico Harrison, you've met the development staff, and your coach says, you know what, Christian Wood will be coming off the bench, and you go right to him 15 seconds later, hey, Christian, your head coach has said you're coming off the bench. And that's when the relationship went.
I think you're absolutely right about.
But I'm just saying this. I'm just saying, like again, like all the guys, I would like to see every.
I apologize for being so graphic.
It'd be a lot better if you didn't have all that baggage.
I apologize for being
never have a shot at it.
But we may have people watching on closed caption, so I wanted to be as
that doesn't bother me at all.
As possible.
I have no problem with. Listen, I write melodramas for a hobby, so I have no problem with over the top theatricality. But I'm just saying that it doesn't. Even so, like if you're not professional enough to take that hit, if you don't have it in you, if you don't have the stone to be like, man, this is what the team needs from me. Like, look at a guy like Danny Green, who probably could have been, like Jamal Crawford, right? Like, put up numbers, get money, and have way fewer rings, if any.
Yeah, because they need that kind of player. They need that kind of player in the league. But nobody, a lot of these guys don't want to admit that kind of player is what they really are best being.
Anyway, I'd like to welcome our cultural moderator, Joe Soro, and Ox 1947.
That was a great line.
Joe's here to make sure we toe the line and don't say anything untoward or piss anybody off, and I thank him for that.
That's interesting. I think the question of who needs to prove the most out of this group. I think the reason why I chose D'Angelo and Vando is because their skill sets could dramatically change for the better should they do what that we hope they can do, which is if Vando can be that threat on offense that we need him to be, I believe his defense will feed off of the good play. That happens a lot in basketball and mainly in any sport where defense takes its process. The other thing is D'Angelo. If he's making his shots, it's impossible to guard the Lakers with a healthy LeBron and an AD, and that changes the whole dynamic of the offense. Just because he's a fast release. He's got a good follow through. He's just quick enough to get enough separation to get that ball out. He could be huge if he's making those shots. And he did win games when he did that. The problem was, let's say Denver, for example, and it wasn't just D'Angelo that they did this to, by the way, folks. They did this to Gabe Vincent, who's now a Laker. They did it to Jimmy Butler, specifically towards the end. How the Lakers adjust to playing against Denver now is they do have more depth, and hopefully at least one or two other guys that they brought in or have developed, i.e. Max Christie, can make shots when D'Angelo isn't making a shot or Vando. So now that you have spread that out a little bit, that's what Denver did too, guys. We've explained that in detail with Porter Jr., with Aaron Gordon. Obviously, Jamal Murray was making his shots, and if Jamal Murray wasn't making his shots, Jokic was making his shots. If those two weren't making their shots, Porter Jr. was making his shots, and they hit their open shots. That's the other thing is every time they were open, they made the shot, it seemed.
Yes.
And that right there, guys, is everything in the NBA. Making shots, especially in a time where that's a priority versus maybe playing stout defense like the Pistons or even the early Laker teams of 2000.
Jokic made shots covered. Guys draped all over him, and he threw it up like this.
He made prayer.
He made circus threes that you dared him to make again, and he did. And that was fate. They were fated to win the
Jamie.
I'd just like to say that we're also today on today's show starting the Joe Soro to replace Senator Dianne Feinstein campaign fundraiser. You've got.
I think she'll still get more votes than me, unfortunately. They like to vote for dead people in California.
You know, Jamie, you're kind of right there. Like one of my favorite sports iconographies is Branch Rickey, who built up the old Brooklyn Dodgers.
Oh yeah, played by Harrison Ford in the Jackie Robinson movie.
Yeah, he believed in speed. He believed in speed, and he often said that luck is the residue of design. So, like what you're saying there about these miraculous shots often going in, it's kind of due to basketball karma, man.
That's the basketball gods saying that.
That's the basketball gods. Man. That's right.
That's
right.
You've worked the hard.
Keep throwing them that way. They're gonna keep going in.
So here's the other most too. We got to cover this one. Who's the most to flame out? Like a moth to a flame. Oftentimes, guys come to Los Angeles thinking that they're greener pastures. Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes.
Nobody's gonna like my answer.
And sometimes it's a moth to a flame, right?
What do you think?
Right?
Prince. Everybody's forgotten about him totally. He's on a 1-year deal. He wouldn't even sign a 1+1.
Yeah,
says Prince.
What do you think,
Jamie?
Joe? No, I'll go with Joe. Oh. Joe just got here. He's eating Oreos. Are you eating Oreos, Joe? You want me to go first? I'll go first. LeBron regressing. I think that has a pretty decent chance of happening at some point on the court, and that he won't be able to call it before it happens. Nobody. That's what I mean. Nobody's gonna like my answer, but that's the honest truth. That's who I think, and I don't like saying it, but that's just what I believe.
Well, one thing that's scary is how he's coming out like.
You know us, Jamie.
Like rookie.
You know us, Jamie. We don't run from.
That's not how I would come out in my 21st year. I know the entire year.
I'd ease on in, baby. I'd ease on in. What do you think, Joe? Most to lose.
He's already regressed. The fact that he ran out of gas the way he did last year was a first sign of it.
That could easily be the foot.
But the foot didn't get surgery. We already talked. Foot didn't get surgery. He's just rolling with it.
But still, the foot needed rest, man. And all you do is exacerbate an injury when you continue playing on it.
That's what he's going to do this whole season. This is my quandary. This is the LeBron James.
You know what the solution is? The solution is simple. The Lakers have to blow out everybody so that LeBron gets a fourth quarter off in every damn game, man. That's the biggest solution. I think you put your best guys out there in the first half, you blow them out, and you learn to step on people's throats. And you let LeBron and AD rest the entire fourth quarter of every single game.
Oh man,
that's load management. That's Lakers load management.
I mean, I'm writing that. I'm writing that in the letter to Darvin Ham and saying, "Dear Darvin Ham, we figured it out. Love Lakers fast break." All right, so I wanted to ask us. Okay, we've talked a lot ad nauseum, to be honest, about who's going to start. I almost never care about who's the starting lineup because on the Laker championship team back in 2020, we started JaVale McGee, which goes to show you how much the starting five matters. The Lakers repeated as championships, starting one-legged and then zero-legged Andrew Bynum at center, which goes to show you at the time he was one then zero-legged after back-to-back seasons were derailed by knee injuries. So that even before that,
you got an Andrew Bynum jersey.
The Lakers at the beginning of the turn of the century started Ron Harper at point guard. And we're able to win back-to-back championships, basically doing that. So it kind of, there's empirical evidence, I'll say it that way, that it doesn't matter who starts. It matters who finishes the game. So we've already gotten quite a few requests in the chat for the first of various.
The season because
people
get traded left and right.
Well, that's what we're rolling. We're not playing a who could be here in the future game. We're playing the who is here now game.
We're finishing with D'Angelo Russell and Jamie.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. My starting five is different than my finishing five. I'll tell you that.
So Jamie, I would go like if they're all playing like within the margin of what they can do.
Sure.
Optimally. Okay. You go with the Gabe of all trades at the 1.
Yeah. Or you close with him.
That's his game.
We're talking closing lineups here. We're not talking starting lineups. Closing lineups. So you got Gabe Vincent at the point.
He's the best defender at the 1.
I agree. Gabe Vincent at the 1. Who else you got, Sean?
we got to go with Austin at the 2.
Yep.
Agreed.
Then 3. You know what? LeBron is your 3, but he's really your 1.
Sure,
That's
whatever.
really your 1.
4.
That's fine.
Because you
matter.
got your then I would have AD at the 5, and I would have Christian Wood at the 4.
Okay, so you're finishing games with a defensive, with 2 guys basically who are defensive negatives. You're feeling that. All right, I respect that. But, because Wood's shot making ability.
If they're playing optimally offensively, like here's the thing, Jamie. I can live with this team slacking off a little bit defensively if they're much better offensively. Like the half court offense has to be better. It was god awful. The half court offense has to be better, especially if you want to beat a team like the Denver Nuggets because they had one of the best.
Yeah, and Wood brings exactly what.
And I think with like Tom's saying, like I think Wood's ability to pick and pop, like if he wants to be the pick and pop pimp, he can be.
Hey, baby, you need to pick a pop. You need to pick a pop, baby. I'm your man. I got you covered. All right. So you got Vincent, Reeves, James, Davis, and Wood. Joe, who you got as a closing 5? Or is it the same? Are you doubling down
closing on the closing 5? I my mind is still at Gabe, Austin, Vando, LeBron, and AD. Because if you're gonna play if you're gonna play Phoenix or Jamal Murray, you're gonna need as much defense in those waning moments as you can. That's where the defense does play a factor. And you're going to need to let LeBron and AD probably dominate the scoring to make sure you're getting the scoring. But it's still we still need timely shots. And I think Austin Reeves has that ability. I really do. And then if Vando can throw in a couple here and there, and then Gabe, obviously, I think that's your best lineup in terms of having as much balance on defense and offense as you can get.
The thing that you have to remember is that the Lakers' desire to play 2 bigs is really kind of to replicate what they did during their championship. And that means that AD is still playing big 50% of the time. And then when you want him to play center is at the end of the game to close the game out. That's always been the closing lineup, even in every description of the 2 bigs lineups. Mm-hmm. So it makes total sense. So I would agree 100% with exactly what Joe said. I think that's the lineup that's going to close.
Is that
leaves open then still the opportunity that they could start with 2 bigs, because I happen to agree with Jamie that while I don't really care who starts, I have a kind of favorite that I'd love to see. I'd love to see Jackson Hayes get a chance to be a real contributor rather than being left out as the 11th man on the rotation.
Whoa. Alan, you need a history lesson here, brother.
That's why I put it up there, Sean, because I was going to disagree with that as well. You need a serious history lesson. I'm pretty sure that LeBron won championships with both guys.
Yes, and let me introduce you.
Well, if we could trade for Buddy Hield and Turner, I would do that.
Hold on, Tom. This is a history lesson for this person because we need it. We need it here. I'm sure you're forgetting also, Alan, that as like Jamie was saying, and we were saying, 3 combined titles. The seeds of that were planted when he played with Zydrunas Ilgauskas. You're gonna forget about this dude. This dude was the pick and pop popcorn machine, and that's all he could do.
That's all he could do.
That's all he could do. But LeBron made sure he was at the right wing. He had that 20 to 24 foot ability to knock down jumpers, and he picked and popped with Zydrunas Ilgauskas all day. So I gotta vehemently disagree, brother. I love you to death, Alan. So you bring up a lot of good points, but the fact of the matter is that LeBron's proven that he can play with pick and pop guys. Now, if you're talking about LeBron now at 38 years old playing with pick and pop guys, that's a little bit different. That's why they went out and got guys like Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves. You're hoping maybe Max Christie. gets a little action off the bench, because I think another thing, Jamie, I think that it's easier for, like Tom was saying, Max Christie. It's easy. I think it would be easier for Max Christie to play with a guy like Gabe Vincent off the bench than to ask him to kind of play with a D'Lo first, especially if you want him to be efficient, because Gabe is a pro, and he's also not a babysitter either. So it's incumbent upon that young player to absorb as much as possible. And I think that's one of the great skills Rob did this offseason, is he's surrounded with these young players, right? With guys who can be able to have their brains picked. They're willing to share information. It used to be like the 90s were a different story, right, Jamie? Certain guys wouldn't give you like information or wouldn't mentor you. Just ask like every big whoever played with Karl Malone.
Oh yeah, no. Or play with Kareem. Kareem didn't
play with Kareem, right? Some guys are just like, I'm
Chuck
not
Nevitt,
here.
You go figure it out, Chuck Nevitt. You go figure it out.
But Rob surrounded these dudes with guys who they could talk to. And I think that's important as well.
Yeah. All right. First off, I want to thank Darren Verastagui. I apologize if I'm butchering your last name there, Darren. It's my bad. Right here. My bad. But you are actually putting up the same closing lineup that I was going to put in. I have Rui over Vando by a slight margin based on his ability to guard. He showed that he had the ability to guard a size up and guard a talented passer in the NBA Western Conference Finals. And that to me is what would, and Vando didn't have the shot making ability. Now, listen, all this could change once we see training camp, preseason games, so on and so forth. We're just spitballing here. We're throwing pasta at the wall. Nobody's got a crystal ball. I mean, well, I do, but it's at the shop. So it doesn't really, you have to shake it and it says cute things at the bottom.
It's always cloudy because it's half empty.
That's right. I use it to fill my bong. I'd like to close Verastagi. Oh, Skydweller. All right. Well, thanks, Skydweller. I hope you're right. Thank you again for the contribution, though, Darren. It's much appreciated. I agree with a lot of people that Rui will probably be in the closing lineup, possibly over even a guard. We could see the Lakers go unprecedented, for Darvin Ham anyway, unprecedentedly large in their closing lineup. Last season, he loved to close with a 3-guard lineup and LeBron and AD. And it was difficult to defend. It was difficult to rebound. Not so much when we had Russ, but when we did lose Russ, the rebounds went down quite a bit. And that was a problem for us. So we'll see how that all works out. Gerald's keeping us up to date on the score of the very important amateur sports contest he's at today. I hope it's a fun watching amateurs run around, and I hope you didn't pay too much money to get in. Gerald should live stream from Legion. It would just be like a lot of.
We tried.
Lakers.
Yeah, we tried that once before at the Mac Center. It didn't work out so well, and then he had to go out. And then he had to go outside in the heat, and we all thought he was going to pass out from heat exhaustion.
Oh boy, let's not have any of that happen. So listen, we're coming up on an hour here. I gotta drive my kid down to my folks' house so I can take my wife to a play tonight. So I got one question for everybody, and then we'll wrap the show up. And that's we're all a bunch of emotional saps here. We get all caught up in our feelings and stuff. And so my question for the panel is, who do you really, really, really want to see break completely out of their stereotype, break completely out of their mode, and have or their hype or lack thereof, and have just the season nobody saw coming?
Darvin Ham.
That's a great answer.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. Yeah. No one is expecting Anthony Davis to have an MVP season.
That's true. I'm not even expecting.
And if he has an MVP season, the Lakers are going to destroy everyone in their path.
NDPOY.
Yeah.
He can make up for the lack of full potential showing by winning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. If he did that, which it's not likely, but if he did, All the street clothes commentary, all that stuff goes away forever. He will have won an MVP. He will have won a Defensive Player of the Year and likely win a championship in the same year, because when he plays well, we're talking about players with empty stats and things like that. AD, what makes him great is when he dominates, the team rolls, and I mean rolls smooth.
I don't know that I considered all of that as much as in my own personal internal calculations, but it almost makes me want to change my pick, which is Jared Vanderbilt. And also, again, I'd like to thank Daniel Berry Sports Highlights for their $6 contribution to the show, and Search and Destroy, who's been a monster on the a monster. Where did it go? Somewhere here. I see. I already. Yep. Yeah. So now I'm blowing it. Anyway, there we go. Search and Destroy has been a monster with links and stuff here on the chat, so we very much appreciate everybody's support here. Sean, who is your breaking the mold?
Yeah, of course. I was being facetious. I wasn't really talking about Darvin Ham, but Jamie and me.
I know. No, I mean, I like your answer though. I mean, it's because Darvin, he both underwhelmed and then overperformed in the same season somehow incredibly, right? Like the first half of the season, everybody was like, this guy in his rotations, he's overly supporting Russ, this, that, and the other thing. And then he gets the team to the Western Conference Finals when he gets players that fit more into the style of basketball that he wants to play. And so you kind of have a grade incomplete for his first season, right? As a head coach, you could say like, look, he took a team to the Western Conference Finals, but you could also say that prior to the trade, he had terrible rotational patterns. It was mind-bogglingly bad at times. So,
he was also responsible for he had a lot of input in who they traded for and who
agreed.
They traded for.
And
I think that's a big part of why Pelinka's made smarter decisions now. I think that
I'll answer your question.
He's got the input of a coach who really is on the same page as to what.
Only Frank Vogel had the same input. If only Frank Vogel had the same.
But that's I have to say one thing that I give credit to Pelinka for.
Sure.
Is that he's not afraid to change directions when he makes a mistake, and he made a mistake by not having his coach involved in everything that he was doing organizationally. That was a serious mistake.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And he reversed course the next time because he gave him the contract. He let him choose his own staff. And that's really the unspoken story here, that not only did he make the team so much younger, but everybody has a little bit of experience. That's all of these young kids. But he totally changed the entire orientation to be player development because of all of the assistant coaches he brought in. We're all player development specialists in their previous jobs. And that was his job too. And then you combine that with the coaching or the scouting staff that we had. And we've sort of created a niche, which is basically a player who's been in the league past his rookie contract, but hasn't come through. Those are the guys who we're trading for. And those are the guys who have been successful in turning around. And it's a big reason why I think that we're confident that we can handle Christian Wood or Cam Reddish or Jackson Hayes or any player that has been a problem possibly where they were before.
I don't know that we're going to have to handle them. They just get waived. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, I'll answer your question this way, Jamie. It's really interesting listening to everyone's opinion. It's all valid, and I learn a lot. Not one big discussion has been had about Jalen Hood, Schifino, and Max Lewis because there wasn't a peep about either one of them at that press conference. So, Jamie, they need one of two things to happen. They need Max Christie to blow this year, or they need Cam Reddish to have a complete and utter renaissance. Like we're talking, you're going from being the belle of the ball to living in the mud, and you're trying to wipe off that mud now and walk among the Parisian wealthy and elite. So the Lakers need one or two of those guys to blow this year because, look, I think Gerald is, and a lot of people are like, we're too I guess like you only have one chance to make a good impression, and unfortunately, Jalen didn't make one. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to let it be an obstacle mentally for him to try and be the best player he could be. I just don't think either one of those guys are ready for the NBA, Jamie, and we need a couple. We need at least one young player out of that pool of salmon,
including Hodge and Castleton.
Yes, we need at least one of those salmon to make sure they make it out to the ocean.
Right.
We do.
I think this should be your campaign slogan, Joe. You better care if you value your life.
You better care if you value your life.
All right, I'm
Middle Eastern, so I can go back to the old country and probably run something there much easier than I could in a country in America.
All right, real quick.
They solve problems differently over there.
Joe, are we allowed to talk about our secret merchandising project yet, or is that still under the wraps?
Oh no, I think we're okay to talk about it now. I mean, we already said that training camp would be the time that we're likely going to, have everything available. So go ahead.
All right. You should talk about it. You've been the
well,
driving
guys. When you're in a collective, you have to collectively agree on what should be coming out to represent the show. So the reason why this has taken a little longer than you probably think it should, there's a few things that we're trying to do. We're trying to make it easy on everyone, especially Gerald, because Gerald spends about 14 hours a day editing. That's not counting the shows. MagicMan spends maybe about 16 hours a day reading the dictionary and doing things like that so he can know everything, which he does.
Don't even try to compete with me in a spelling bee.
Yeah, there's no shot. He's going to know everything about who you are before you do. And Jamie is not around.
Yeah, I'm a slacker.
He's always moving. Tom is entertaining Twitter or X or whatever the hell they call those people now.
Twixter.
So with that, you got to then collectively try to figure out how all that kind of comes together. And now we have gotten an answer as of this weekend on what everyone likes that will be available. And then what's going to happen is the website that will be given to you during training camp, you guys will be able to order anything and everything you want. Now, the company you're ordering from is my girl. Like, that's my girl, right? And she'll do anything for me. And that's what she's done. And it's going to be not like that. This is public stuff, so people can watch this.
It's business.
My wife knows. Look, I got girls all over the place, guys. In business, it is what it is. I can't hide it. We're trying to.
Yeah, Joe's not going to sing the ludicrous.
You can't say. That's the other thing too. You can't Aren't we all supposed to be more opportunity? You can't then all of a sudden get involved and have more opportunity. And they're like, wait a minute, why are you working with her? Well, guys, I'm not going to go around and tiptoe around who we should work with because of looks. No, if you're good at what you do, which she's really good, you're going to work. That's it. This is what it is. Anyways, so you guys will be able to access this website, order whatever you want, and it's going to be some good stuff. So there you go.
Joe Brandt shirt. I'm in.
We'll put some stuff together. I'm gonna have some production value enhancements coming here soon, guys. And we might have a good shot of a rant on a shirt. We'll see.
Was that one of those push the button on the chest and it speaks out to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Variations.
We'll put it together.
All right. Well, I love that there's 30 people watching right now. I love that we're one more like somebody like our show, and so we get to 20. And I don't know that did we give up the pursuit for 1,000 subscribers because of the interwebs. I feel like we did kind of.
We're well over, Jamie.
I don't care. I don't care about numbers anyway. It's not a popularity contest. I know we all rule. Listen, you guys all rule. Our chat here rules. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on the show today. One more thing before we head out. We are so close to the first preseason game.
20 likes. 20 likes.
20. Hey, thank you. October 7th against the Warriors. So we'll have a great show probably before and after that, and we'll probably be chatting live if you want to come chat with us live on. I always forget the name of the website because it doesn't let me use it through Spectrum, which I find.
Isn't that a week from the day? 1 week from the day exactly.
We're 7 days away, baby. We're 7 days away. So, 8 technically, but who's counting? Again, what do numbers matter in this modern era?
Numbers,
like Joe says.
You can turn everything in the world into numbers.
Dead folks get a lot of votes in California, which is why I'll be voting for none other than, I can't think of anybody right now. I was going to say somebody witty for interim senator, but Gavin Newsom's just going to appoint somebody, so it'll hopefully be Joe.
No, he's going to appoint a stand-in.
Whatever.
He's not going to decide the election ahead of time.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody, and for Gerald Glassford, who couldn't be with us today because he's watching amateurs run around in jerseys at some Allegiant Stadium somewhere in the state of Nevada. I'd like to thank everybody from the Lakers Fast Break, Lakerholics.com, and all of our wonderful bloggers here. I'm going to try to do my best Gerald impersonation, but I never get it right. Thank you for coming on Lakers Fast Break.
You got to do this too.
We really. Joe,
have
we gone through with those Gerald Glassford bobbleheads?
I don't know.
We really need those, man.
Yeah, he's as bobblehead.
I'd love to have one of those in my car.
Also, we need to work on
for everybody's vehicle.
No, bobblehead is definitely in the works. That's
if anybody has a link or a lead on a on a sunglasses sponsor for Tom.
And what we're going to do is we're going to put a Clipper shirt on that bobblehead.
Oh, no, it's definitely got to be a USC shirt. It's all USC. Who blew out somebody today, but that's, I don't.
Actually,
my wife the other day
they
showed
didn't blow them out, Jamie. They barely survived. They barely survived Colorado and Deion Sanders.
Oh, okay. Well, don't ever count out big time, man. Deion is he's good at all things. I've always loved him.
Deion's got a long way to go.
Tom should be wearing those Deion Sanders.
Hey, I will say one thing though. I didn't watch the second game, but I watched their second game. I didn't watch last week, but I watched the second game, and I can't believe that's the first college football game that I've watched in. I'm not even counting bowl games, so give Deion credit for that. And and I like how he's responded to it and revived them. I think that's just terrific for the sport, But
anyway, we'll be.
Well, if he plans on sticking around, if he truly plans on sticking around, he's got a couple more recruiting classes that he can bring in.
But they're no longer. The Pac-12 is gone. They're gone out of the Pac-12.
Pac-2.
Yeah, it's the Big Ten now. Has everybody?
Yeah, the Big Ten.
Where does Colorado go? Is Colorado part of what?
Big Ten is the Big 16.
Yeah, where's Colorado going now?
They're moving to the Big 12.
Listen, why are we talking about amateurs? These are rank amateurs. Right. Amateurs, people. Amateurs. Yeah. Anyway, for all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break, I'm Jamie Sweet.
That Gerald Glassford bobblehead will be
it'll be a hot.
That will finance the show for the next 10 years.
Maybe we'll push a little button where it's like, hey.
Hey. What was it? What did he say when we got a subscriber? He was like, hey,
Pop Culture Cosmos.
It'd be nice if they could push a button on the bobblehead and have it do that. Joe. Not making it more complex for you to put the product line together.
We gotta figure out who I can find locally to do something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
And I'm saying a sunglasses sponsor for Tom. Those are the two things we got to find. Anyway, and a lighting. I need a lighting sponsor here in my garage.
Yeah, you're kind of dark, all right.
I'm like Two-Face. I've got my positive side and my negative side.
I always cringe when those guys hide behind the chainsaw.
Not Jamie. It doesn't give off like Freddy Krueger, Ed Gein vibes. But yeah, you should work on the lighting.
Yeah, he's in the garage behind the chainsaws. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think, everybody? Tell me what you think. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Anyway, I'm Jamie Sweet. We're a bunch of nerds.
Psycho.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like it? Yeah. I could just do the whole show like this if you wanted me to.
Part of Psycho history.
Tonight, I thought D'Angelo Russell had a great game. It was great, I tell you.
Jamie, you almost sounded like Alex Jones there.
I could do. Listen, let's not get insulting. Let's keep this on the up and up.
You were getting pretty loud.
Yeah. Well, that's because I got close to my mic. That's all. Anyway, I'm Gerald Glassford. That's Jamie Sweet. We're all whoever the hell we are. Thanks for joining us today, and everybody have a wonderful weekend. And in like 5 hours, MagicMan's doing a show, and then Gerald's doing something about the state of pro wrestling, which
Pop Culture Cosmos at 7.
Pop Culture Cosmos at 7:00.
State of pro wrestling, where talent sucks.
Yeah. What talent?
And promos are worse.
What talent? Yeah. We need to. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's Joe expanding his.
Well, I've seen some promo.
Draw new clients for him to speculate for.
Oh man. All right, that's it. We're wrapping it up. Good day, everybody.
It's more the modulation of his voice than anything else. It's not a repugnant idea.
Oh man, I feel like I'm on vacation.
Hey, the Lakers logos. Are the Lakers going to come after us?
MagicMan